is the Neutral Zone. It's June 15th, Monday at 11 o'clock. Welcome to our show. I'm Jason Schwartz, your host. You are at 88.5 FM, KAKU, the voice of Maui, which is simulcast on Akaku Maui Community Media, Channel 55. And right now you'll see it on their platform on your phone, Maui Stream, that has Akaku shows. If you go to their website, akaku.org, you can get to the radio and plug in and listen to our show there. But where our show lives is on YouTube and on MauiNeutralZone.com. In fact, MauiNeutralZone.com is the preferred place to listen to this show and all of our shows. We've got over 600 so far up there. Because there's a search engine at the site. That means if you want to talk about affordable housing, every time anyone spoke about affordable housing on any of our shows, it's up there. All of our shows have full transcripts and summaries, and we like to think that we are the voice of Maui, or voice of Maui through Jason Schwartz's ears and eyes over the last 30-plus years. Wow. I've been blessed to be on Maui a long time with my partner Ariel. We've been doing shows for a long time. And this year, instead of going and doing all kinds of political interviews at large, I thought, I'll just concentrate on a couple of races so that I can give every one of the races a chance. And here in the primaries, the big one is mayor. And I thought, okay, let's see. I had P. Denise LaCosta. I've got John Dunbar coming up. I just spoke to Joseph Moses in the field. He'll be a show I'm putting up. We're not going to have him here in the studio. And I've got other people coming with really, even in the interviews of setting them up for the interviews, they have really interesting and good ideas. That is what elections are all about to me, is how can we make better what we have now. Right now, what we have is a seat that's sitting empty. I'm actually surprised. I have Mayor Richard Bissen as my guest. And I spoke to his office and had scheduled. They asked for a list of questions. I sent them the reply. So I actually thought I'd be seeing the mayor here for our questions. A lot of people said, you have a lot of questions for him. A lot of input. A lot of people wanted me to ask questions of our mayor. Tomorrow night, Kihei Community Association, the Kihei Community Association, has a Let's Meet the Mayor, couple hours, I think, even, at the Pro Arts Theater. That's where I sang with Cheryl Renee. It's got 113 seats. I imagine it's going to be pretty crowded, but if you have 10 people in the race, even if they just had time themselves, you really can't get much. But when you're sitting with me for a half hour or an hour, you get to more explore who these candidates are, because that is the role that I'm playing. My role is I want to talk about good ideas that can be moving forward in a positive way. In a positive way. I'm out there. Yesterday was June 14th. I actually bought a subscription to Paramount to check in and see the UFC thing. And I figured I'd check in and see what Dutton Ranch and some of those things that are up there on Paramount were all about for a month. But I went out to the No Kings protest experience, whatever that was happening, at Kane and Kaumanu Avenue, right there where Sears used to be, at the corner. A lot of things happen at that corner. In fact, it's a very active political corner. There's even going to be conversations happening there on weekend, 4 to 6-ish, as I understand it, on Saturday. That's exciting. Anyway, I went down there and did a couple of videos and held up a sign and talked to people for a bit. It was a small group, old like me, people that are still getting a realization you got to put yourself out there. I wish we could see younger people. I know there's so many younger people that don't agree with things as they are. Yet, on my website, the only kind of comments I got, no support from many of my friends, I got all kinds of weird comments and people that like fighting and like the Trump experience. You know, what do they say? Haters gonna hate. That's what you say. Thank you, Taylor Swift. Anyway, because I don't have the mayor here, I'm going to start with what I thought was when I was driving and doing my thing today and all these last days. I was thinking of what is important to me and what's important to the people that I spoke to about what's going on in Maui County. So let's explore that. Let me see now. Is this? I'm not sure which is one and which is two, so you might hear an echo. That's the other mic. But the first thing I thought was important, I said, what's important? Wait a minute. I'm in KAKU 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui, simulcast on Akaku Maui Community Media. Wait a minute. We just see that Maui Community Media is next year going to be faced with a shortfall of almost $500,000 because after the fire, the loss of the revenue, and also things that have been implemented by Spectrum that are questionable by the people here in Akaku and others, obviously. But what is the county doing to continue to help in funding until Akaku can find ways to get a bigger budget? I mean, when I've talked about things with Akaku, I'm a pipsqueak. They don't think much about me. But if I did it as a mayor, maybe we'd have traction. Anyway, something to think about. I think that I'd like to get a line item in there that can be added as an emergency in the county budget, or take money from wherever you can to make sure that public access TV and radio is not shortchanged, and that we can make sure that the public has a way to have their voice out there. Whether you're protesting or whether you're supporting, whether you have blue ideas, green ideas, pink ideas, we want you here and we want you to be part of what the public access system was meant to be. And it's really sad to me that corporate things suddenly change and control and diminish public access, and it's sad that the public doesn't more openly and clearly. We see them rely on public access TV. Public access TV right now delivers so much to this island and has delivered so much to help inform everyone what's going on, keep us informed of what the government's doing best they can. I commend them, and I really want to put that number one issue. All right, what else? Well, I don't want to rush through them, but let's think about number two. Yeah, there's a lot of number two going around. I know that. But I'm talking about, on my list, I thought OEV. OEV. Now, the mayor helped the Hawaiian community get an organization to elevate Hawaiian culture. And I think that's good. I recognize there are lots of cultures here, and that's why in the notion, when I created the Maui Arts and Music Association, elevating the Hawaiian culture in there is part of it, and was and is part of it. And with our notion that nonprofits working together are all part of us, at their decision to become part of us, it sounds really funny. Well, we are. And we can include anything and anyone we want in our base. And if our base involves self-sustainability, it involves everyone. I was actually surprised when I got an email back that said, not from this guy, Rick Bissen, but from Joseph Moses. It said, I don't have but a flip phone. And I thought, this guy's running for mayor, he doesn't have a flip phone? And I guess I was right. I assumed that he was living on, he's helping feed people and help people get showers. He's on a mission, and he himself is homeless, houseless, whatever's politically correct. And there are people like him. He's in the race, and hopefully he'll be there tomorrow night. I'm going to go there to see all these candidates that show up. at the Kihei Community Association mayoral meeting. I'm sorry that we don't have the mayor here. I'll give him an invitation back. I like to think that he got busy and someone didn't realize to call me to tell me that he wasn't going to be here. Because I don't think of him as irresponsible. In fact, I think this guy was a judge for all these years. I saw him in that role. In fact, I found, I guess afterward, that I was in a very controversial case where, anyway, I don't want to talk about it, but he was the judge. And I got to see him in action as a judge, and he commanded a big presence. And I'm sure that he knows and follows the laws. I wanted to see and explore in a gentle way what happened after the fire in Lahaina and Kula. And, who takes over and who's in charge. And how much control and supplemental can you help and do. And I don't like to point fingers. I don't need to. But I want to see what we can do to make things better. And I wonder very strongly whether us putting that ash from the fire that was in Oluwalu, that was controversial there, and now it's in Central Maui landfill area right next door. It's controversial there. It's controversial. Why didn't we spend a fraction of that money and get it off island? Because why? As I heard it, because it's not a federally approved program, or these are not federally approved ways of solving the problem. So they weren't looked at. Although they were presented, we had a guest here, we had Eddie Garcia. We had lots of things presented by many people with technical skills and know-how at a fraction of the cost of what it cost to get the system to help us. Everything I've heard from people in Lahaina, the people that, some of them were helping and some of them were helped, but it was the local people. They didn't look at whether you're a Hawaiian or a white person in a haole, or whether you were from Venezuela or Mexico, or we don't know, or are your papers right? The people that helped were the local people. The thing that sustained us was us. That's why the word self-sustainable really rings true, because when the shit hits the fan, we have what we have, and that should be a collective thing. Every time I hear separation, every time I hear haters doing their hate, someone gets up to say, I don't like that the Epstein files haven't been cleared, and all these people are and I don't like the way they do that. I don't either. But the people that retort on them, and when you hear the personal stories, you hear all kinds of stuff. How about a lady who's been 32 years a bus driver here, Portuguese. She doesn't want to be here anymore, but she can't get her husband to leave to another place. Why? Her son was attacked in McDonald's a decade ago by someone that wasn't American, that had powers to be able to get out of being charged. And the things that happen that we don't see. Is our government making it easy for ICE and all that group to come in and do their thing? Is our police department the arms and the legs of the federal agency? Are we going to be complicit with letting our community be invaded by people that... Are we working in concert? Some people would say, well, we don't want criminals. I get you. But I think that the whole thing can be handled better than it's been handled. And I would like to think that would be an issue to talk to the mayor about, Sometimes I think, what about other stuff? What are your priorities? Is it going to be a place for homeless people, houseless people, to shower and shave and get ready and have a safe place to sleep at night? Or are they going to continue to be subject to outrageous on-the-street stories of murders, of beatings, of things being stolen, people getting... It could go on and on. How about in Kula? How about this story? There's a house in Kula that they know it was vacant for a number of years. It's adjacent, it was a brother-sister. The brother didn't live there, the property got overgrown. It's suddenly, there's activity over there. They realize it's illicit activity. So the police come, try to get it handled. I don't know the detail. All I know is, from what I'm told, 3 and 4 cop cars. The people broke out over a barrier to get out. Then it's happened. They've been up there numbers of nights, numbers of days. Neighbors are all alarmed. Is this all happening? Terrorism? Why aren't we having more strong handling of situations like that and less on our people directly? Anyway, as you can see, I have some opinions. They're not the only opinions, but humanity would be nice. And not terrorizing a whole neighborhood and an island because where absolute criminal activity is, maybe the police are restrained by the laws. Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe they're afraid. No question they're afraid. Well, let's take some of the brave souls that are being paid premium looking for illegals to help in the reverse way. But what illegals? I think it should be handled delicately. We're a small island and we've gone through some things, and we know that everyone has value. And we know that gentle handling is a better way than rudeness and roughness and callous disregard, which has happened to many of our citizens and many people that are foreign-born and may well be here illegally, that could be handled more gently, more humanely. Anyway, our housing, what about our streets? You know, I know that it's tough to wrestle a budget. You're just the mayor. You just follow the plan and try to go inside the lines and have your departments be the most efficient they can be and have the most progressive things you can do to make that part of this economy and islands work. I'd like to see more of an open plan on what you're doing. The council got rid of an environmental and climate action committee. To me, that was a sacrilege, and I hope that we get Kelly King in. There you go. Because I just am horrified by what I see going on at a council level, and I think it's time to get active and do our best to save ourselves. Save our planet, yes, but save ourselves. We're the most remote landmass in the world. 95% of our food comes from somewhere else. How about it, people? How about it? How about incorporating trade in? I had last week I had Professor Tratner on talking about self-sustained, affordable community models using all kinds of technologies together. Now, I know a lot about that stuff, but I just can't keep putting it out from me. That's why I have guests. Some people don't know that when I came to this island in 1988 to be a proponent of renewable energy technology to do cogeneration, solar, water heating, all kinds of things to be able to use cogeneration, creating hot fluid that could be used for all kinds of things, including water heating. When someone says, I don't like AI, it's going to take jobs. Well, if you don't know how to use it, it's going to take that job. There are a lot of things that could make AI be our best friend. We're worried it's going to use too much water. Well, we can make water out of the air. We know how to take water and create desalination. And with electricity, we know how to do the same. So why don't we make these super data centers have to provide their own power and their own water, and I'm sure other things, and make them contribute back in different ways? Why are we limiting ourselves and not looking over the horizon? These things are out of the box. AI is here until it either kills us or it's here to stay. And people that don't learn it are going to say that AI took my job, while people that are learning it are finding that AI is enhancing what they do to make what they do better. Yes, I agree. This system when that will let those that are in charge get rid of more and more people. So let's do things with our people. Let's change who and what we are as people. Well, it's sort of happening now, but it's also interesting to see that the people that are online, the young kids, craving offline activity. And we're in a changing world. We're very few, maybe no generations, but this baby boomer generation that have been the bridge between analog and digital, have been the bridge between one-to-one and one-to-many by the way they were able to leverage technologies and leverage things to make things available to be better. Anyway, that's not necessarily the mayor directly. I really think it's funny that we have a new festival. It's the Wailuku Film Festival. I think it's great, but the Maui Film Festival, when they say it's gone, how can you use the words Maui Film and Festival and not think of Maui Film Festival? Maybe it's a branded name. Maybe we'll get Barry and Stella Rivers to let us use the name. But I think that the world wants to see the Maui Film Festival. And I'd like to see something that would bring our world back here. Wailuku Film Festival, great for our local people, really great. And Brian is really, what he's done for education there at the college and here, the fact is that there's someone that I think that a lot of people may know or may not know. And like right now I'm blanking on his last name, which is really very funny. But years ago I thought, why is the school using Adobe Premiere and Adobe as its choice, where Nakaku is using Apple and iMovie as its choice? But the world is kind of overlapped now and getting together. I was concerned that we're not training people to be able to continue in this public access media world. And I really want to make sure that we don't lose public access. Because even though I'm using it, we'll see how many people watch and listen, quite a few, but nowhere near what need be to make sure that we continue funding public access television, not only through money from cable and not only through contracts they have with the county and other, maybe other people, but we need a voice so everyone can have a voice. Have a voice. Be part of this democracy. And that's why I do all these interviews the way I do. I'm trying to bring new people to you. Sometimes people you know. Many times people you know. Or if you don't know, they become new friends and new people in your light, in the spotlight. Some people have told me, Jason, I think it's time for you to retire. How can you retire when no one's picking up the ball and running with it? I wonder why, and I think it's a technology thing, why the young people are disconnected from being out there publicly more about the way they feel. Are they afraid to be more political? I hope that they all vote, but are they afraid to be informed? No, I don't think they're afraid to be informed. I don't think they crave to be informed. But how do you deal with not knowing who is running? I mean, look how many candidates are unopposed. Unopposed in their primaries and unopposed even in the races for these seats. to represent you and me. Well, I guess, Mayor Bissen, you're not here. Thank you very much for telling me you'd be here. I would appreciate next time, because I'll give you a next time. Maybe before the general you'll come on again, and maybe not. There are a lot of people going to try to pick you apart, but with big money like you and Yuki have, I don't think any of those other people have terribly much chance. Maybe a couple. They are scrappy, and they're going to be looking to point out holes in your work and try to show that you are not the complete package to be our mayor. And Yuki, I also offered a seat here to Yuki. I hope to have Yuki Lay come on. And I hope to be able to give you a picture of who's running, what are they running for. Does Lawrence Zand expect that by wearing a hockey mask, looks like Jason and a slasher, that he's making a point and he's going to become mayor? No, he's got some ideas he wants to share. Otherwise, he may be a little bit delusional. Is that who you want for your mayor? Do you think a homeless man who's deciding he wants to go out and have a platform of we the people, and he's been here a year, do you think he's the one to run your county? Or what about, there are people out there that are running. So if you don't know who they are, yeah, you may take the easy route and vote for Bissen or vote for Yuki or vote for Denise Lacoste. Some people have said, wow, this woman has some really good ideas. We have to remember that. We have to get more involved, all of us, and see, with or without the person, their ideas and their contributions have great value and need to be implemented. So that's what that is. Now, I could have been speaking for another half hour, and probably could still do that now. But I'm going to give you guys a break, and I'm going to play some music along with some more commentary. So once again, our guest didn't show up, Mayor Rick Bissen. We'll see him tomorrow night, hopefully, at the KCA meeting, and whatever his apology, it's accepted. I just hope that you guys know that it's the long form of conversation where we really get to see who these people are. Because for a snapshot or a 2-minute or 3-minute thing, they can well say what they want, but you need a little bit more guts to it. There are people that will ask those tough questions, and I wasn't looking to ask tough questions. I was looking to give the mayor and all my guests a chance to really share what they want to share, to be able to deliver their message. That's really powerful. That's why public access is really, really important. That's why I'm asking for your help for public access. Okay? And remember us, MauiNeutralZone.com. You go up there and you look around, you'll say to yourself, oh, let me put some names in there. Let me Suki. Oh, there's Joe Suki. Oh, you did an interview with him? Did a few with him. What about Obama? No, but we have Obama when there was a party after he won to become president. We saw some of that party. What about housing? What about water? What about? We're, by the way, I almost got Brian's last name. It came running through. Brian at the college is running the media department, and he's also, obviously, he's the film commissioner. So he's performing a really valuable service for the college and its students. More than 30 films are student films in this huge number of films that are going to be showing here in just a few days, the 17th to the 21st, at our two great theaters in Wailuku, the Naylor Theater, there on the main drag, 2027 Main Street. I guess it's North Main Street. There in Wailuku. And, of course, the historic Iau Theater on Main Street, on Market Street. And, boy, Boy, so many good memories of Wailuku and theater, and now Wailuku and film screens. And I think it's just really been a really strong, strong local pull. And I'm really, really thinking that is just really beautiful. And thank you, Mr. Mayor, for supporting that. And thank all you council people for supporting that. And I would like to make a personal appeal that people start looking into the Kihei race in council. It's my opinion that the developers at Wailea 670 need to be paying for the expansion of the infrastructure of that highway. And it got to be calculated into the cost of things and what they're doing. I think that they've made it clear that they have a fixture in Councilman Tom Cook, who has taken money from his own industry and not excused themselves for votes on all kinds of things like that. And it's been pivotal in our close council votes. So I hope we can reverse that and put the burden of the cost back on the developers. That thing has been dragged on for so long. Had they done it years ago, it would have cost a lot less to do. But whatever it is, and that's where it is. Because I've been here now in Maui more than 30 years, and I've seen that construction has a hold. Why would a carpenters union give one big, fat, juicy, hundreds of thousands of dollars of contribution for one candidate in a little council race? Because they do not want that balance of power on our council to shift, where maybe developments will be burdened with expenses that they don't like. And I don't need to pick on a construction industry, because I appreciate they would like to build and be economical, but there's certain expenses that need to be bundled with doing things in the area, and one of them is paying for the highway expansion. And I think that is non-negotiable. So think about that when you're voting. Think about that. When you can vote for Kelly King instead of Tom Cook, wait, there's no primary race? Nobody else? And we had to, I don't want to say I didn't do it, get Kelly to run again? She's running her own incredibly important and valuable things. Biodiesel they're doing. And they're looking at all kinds of expansion into self-sustainable grains that we can do here. I don't want to be giving everyone's fire. There's so many good things going on in the world that are being easily dismissed because we got rid of our Climate and Environment Committee. We easily dismiss. They talk about self-sustainability, but they don't show it through doing it. They don't show it through why? Because the structure is damaged and it needs to be changed. I hear that from virtually all the candidates, and the people that are in office are trying to mostly preserve their seats and preserve what they're doing, but things need to happen more quickly or we're going to be in deep trouble, more than we already are. You know, this thing about self-sustaining is not a joke. And those that live here know, with the price of everything, if we aren't self-sustaining, only the rich will be sustained in times of challenge. And that's horrible. So I would like to, in the spirit of Lahaina Strong, in the spirit of the people of Maui that say, we are one. We can go further into the world, but we here support each other. And I propose a lot of things that seem so unconventional to those that aren't continually listening and continually looking to see what makes me say such radical things. Radical? How is it radical to say I want to get water from the air? or radical to say I want to take green waste and turn it into phytoceuticals, and I wanted to turn it into water desalination and way to do. Why is that? These ideas are not new. Why are we keeping our eyes closed? Because our system doesn't leave room. They say they're leaving room. They do a little grant and they then applaud themselves for doing something to help 10 people, 12 people. That's great. But what about the rest of them? You think there are 750 homeless? Why can't you get 750 tents? Why can't you be able to do temporary anything to solve problems and bundle it with services? We talk about it. You bring in people that are experts from all over, and you're doing the best you can. Is it a money problem? Why don't we ask our people to do it? Why don't we do it through a different way of being to help people sustain here so they have some additional resources to put into their communal solutions? Needless to say, there's a lot of discussions that could happen with our mayor or anyone becoming mayor, but we need things independent of our government that work and cooperate and bring in numbers of nonprofits, helping to support them through what we're doing to give them a little bit more money through our programs and features, but to cooperate to make this system work without having to reach outside for many of the services that we could do right here, right now, and train our island to be loving, to train our island to react with love instead of with this bickering that we're seeing lately. And many people tie it into politics, and I wonder sometime whether I'm talking all over the map, but I really see this as all tied in together. You know, it's hard for me to deny because I've been told so many stories about graft that people have personally seen and on a couple of occasions that they experienced because they said yes. So they themselves, in fact, one of them is in jail right now, but too much stuff under the carpet here. Are we still looking at that now? Is Richard Bissen only en route to being governor? Well, is he ready to be governor? Does he want to be governor? Was that part of his plan? Is that part of his plan? I don't know. But I do know that there are a lot of issues here. Just when I look on my street and I see that it needs to be paved, and I know, well, is it because we don't have enough blacktop? No, we don't have enough people to do it. I think it's basically everything. So we all have to step up in our own little way. And those that have resources and have houses and complain that they have taxes on their houses, why are you complaining? You have a house. So many people here can't afford to have a house. We need to think more cooperatively. People think that's socialist. Maybe call it so. It's a social program, but there's plenty of room for profit, plenty of room for special things that you want personally, but much more can be given. Why did I create Maui Coast Property? Why do I want to give 60% of what I make in real estate to support other programs? I take my money. I could have done something else with it and got taxed and hoard it for later, but we need to regenerate Maui. That means give of what we have that we could consume and put it away. Put it away means put it into programs to keep generating and be that self-sustained community. When we talk about wanting to keep people on the island, wouldn't it be easier to keep people on the island if we had resources like trade in the mix, where we can improve someone's quality of life by having solutions here? Isn't it interesting that Lanai has Larry Ellison, one of the richest guys in the world, and his son, David, and they're wanting to take over CBS and Paramount and CNN, and we have room here, and we could be doing things for the environment here. We could have a film studio here. We could employ people here. We could. Wait a minute. How all these things can work together. There's nothing that says we have to take sides. I surely don't have any sides. I don't have any enemies, nor do I want to create any enemies. I want to create solutions so that everything can grow. Everything can flourish. Except those things that what? Are trying to diminish others, take from others, and you hear the thing I'm talking about, ICE, not protecting us from terrorism by people in our community that the police aren't attacking because they're afraid. Well, there's where you bring in help. We don't need help to go into communities to gently talk to people about what's going on with their citizenship. It doesn't have to be the way it is. And the only way we're going to make a change is if we do something about it. And that means electing people that think differently, that act differently, and that means, in my mind, more compassion and understanding of the local experience and weighing our activity locally to support and help local people. The economy can grow in the tourism industry as a byproduct of what we do, but we need to focus on solving local issues that all can be solved. We can even grow things to grow our houses. There's so many solutions that already exist. So that's really critical. That's really important. Well, I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to let you hear something that when I heard it, it said to me, my goodness, they recognize that AI can be good and bad. Listen to this. This is Ray Hinton, Physics and Chemistry at the Nobel Peace Prize.
This year, the Nobel Committees in Physics and Chemistry have recognized the dramatic progress being made in a new form of artificial intelligence that uses artificial neural networks to learn how to solve difficult computational problems. This new form of AI excels at modeling human intuition rather than human reasoning, and it will enable us to create highly intelligent and knowledgeable assistants who will increase productivity in almost all industries. If the benefits of the increased productivity can be shared equally, it will be a wonderful advance for all humanity. Unfortunately, the rapid progress in AI comes with many short-term risks. It has already created divisive echo chambers by offering people content that makes them indignant. It is already being used by authoritarian governments for massive surveillance and by cybercriminals for phishing attacks. In the near future, AI may be used to create terrible new viruses and horrendous lethal weapons that decide by themselves who to kill or maim. All of these short-term risks require urgent and forceful attention from governments and international organizations. There is also a longer-term existential threat that will arise when we create digital beings that are more intelligent than ourselves. We have no idea whether we can stay in control, but we now have evidence that if they are created by companies motivated by short-term profits, our safety will not be the top priority. We urgently need research on how to prevent these new beings from wanting to take control. They are no longer science fiction. Thank you.
Isn't that powerful? That's from Ray Hinton, one of the, I want to say inventors, one of the people critical in the development of these technologies, who's talking at a level of the Nobel Prize of how we see where profit is the motive that we are left out of the equation. So put that front and center in an important thing to be doing. And that's something that our mayor can do and our governor can do if they understand the problem. And again, if they I don't want to be saying it, but I still, to this second, I still can't believe that the mayor didn't show up and didn't have someone get in touch with me before this point, because this is valuable time here on the radio and on TV here locally that people pay premium dollar for. That's why public access, again, is so important to our community. Well, I'm going to play a song that was written by my friend, I'm happy to say that, Ames Anderson. It's called Gracias Senor. He and his wife Marianne perform around our island as a group called Simple Pleasures. And they've really been a great new part of my life here for the last while, and a couple of years now. Wow, time runs by. Well, Ames wrote a song called Gracias Senor that he wanted to write to the man that is working for him on the mainland through his activity over the last years, got to be where he could run the business with Papa being here in Maui and being able to have business continue there and take care of his customers. And this song is just a thank you to someone that came here from another country to be able to take care of his family, whether legal or illegal in the world. Everyone that's heard this song has said, that is a loving song that says, we are all loving partners in this world. And thank you for all you give, all you people that have come all this way to support and grow with your families and help them grow. And thank you. Here, it's called Gracias, Senor.
Gracias, Señor, por lo que ha dado, su honestidad y amistad también. Y gracias a su esposa por su trabajo duro para su familia aquí y su familia en México. You came here to work hard for you and your family. You have done as you said, to your word you've stayed true. This country is stronger for the strength you have given, for all you have given to me. My thanks I give to you. Cuídase, amigo mío, cuida su esposa y su hijo. Trabaja duro por una vida mejor. Por usted, su familia aquí y su familia en México. Gracias, hasta la vista y vaya con Dios. you and your family. You have done as you said, to your word you've stayed true. This country is stronger for the strength you have given, for all you have given to me. My thanks I give to you. Gracias, Señor, por lo que ha dado. Gracias, Señora, por lo que ha hecho.
Gracias, señores, por lo que han dado.
Gracias, señoras, por lo que han hecho. Gracias, Señor. Gracias, Señor. Gracias, Señor. Gracias, Señor. Gracias, Señor. Gracias, Señor.
Gracias, Senor. That's a beautiful song, beautiful sentiment. Thank you, Ames. Ames Anderson. You'll look up on YouTube, you'll see it. Please share that song. We would like to see that message get out. Yeah, right now I'm going to play you one more song. We have 4 minutes, and I thought I'm going to have some fun today now. I'm going to play something, and I thought, what should I play? And I've been just thinking. I like that thing about the Nobel Peace Prize. I'd like to hear more about that. But I'm going to play this song. You may know this song. It's from Lono. It was written way back when Jack Lewin was running for governor. The time has come to make a change. The time has come to unlock the hope that lives in each and every one of us. And we must do our part. We hold the visions God dreams of. Our hands can heal the ones we love. Let's gather round and let us make a stand. For you and me, unlock the hope and there's a better life. Unlock the hope. Unlock the hope, there'll be no turning back. But nothing changes unless we unlock the hope. The time has come to make a change. The time has come to unlock the hope that lives in each and every one of us. And we must do our part. We hold the visions God dreams of. Our hands can heal the ones we love. Let's gather round and let us make a stand. For you and me, unlock the hope and there's a better life. Unlock the hope, there'll be no turning back. But nothing changes unless we unlock the hope. But nothing changes unless we unlock the hope. But nothing changes. Ooh. Unless we unlock the hope. 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 I love that song. That's Lono's song, Unlock the Hope. Lono, lonomusic.com. Lono's over on Molokai. He teaches ukulele, has a camp there, and he's a wonderful guy, wonderful performer. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed today's show. I would have enjoyed having the mayor here. And next week we have... first of all, happy Father's Day coming up for all you fathers and all you people that love fathers. And we will see you. I have some mayoral candidates coming next week. Next week, I've got John Dunbar for an hour. He's running for mayor also. Thank you for joining us. We'll be out of here shortly. It's been a pleasure. Love to everyone. Let's share it and spread it around. Everyone, see you next week.